What wasn't obvious to the AI was when I said muscular woman, instead of giving her, some moderate muscles, they decided to make her Wonder Schwarzer woman.
Hello, cutie pie. You're mine now.
Wrong!
Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Genealogy. Hello there, my YouTube minions of design. Your unfriendly neighborhood Skeletor. And today, Skeletor, I'm going to do another AI video. That's right. Today, Skeletor, I'm going to find out how an artificial intelligence art program would redesign the characters from the Super Friends, as described by me, Skeletor. And I'm talking about the OG Super Friends. The one from the 70s and 80s.
These are the Super Friends.
That one. I think most of us remember those shows as, the cheesy version of the Justice League.
Especially when they're carrying banana cream pie.
Well, yes, it was cheesy. There's no doubting that these Super Friends definitely hold a special place in our hearts. Well, your heart. I don't really have one, but if I did, I'd have a special place for it, I'm sure. Now, fair warning, there are a few of you who are going to be like, Skeletor, how come you didn't put my favorite Super Friend in there? So before you say that, let me just tell you all, I'm just focusing on the OG Super Friends for now, with maybe a few extras here and there, because there was a lot of Super Friends by the end, and I didn't want this video to be, 3 hours long.
Holy gobbledygook!
So, most likely I'll do a part 2 at some point, and I'll get to those other Super Friends that I know are probably some of your favorites. However, I'm sticking with the main ones for this video.
Holy loudmouth!
Anyway, enough of this blathering. Let's do this thing, shall we? Alright, now before I get started, just a reminder for y'all to stay to the very end, as there will be a lot more funny extra pictures, some that didn't make the cut, but some that were actually far more bizarre and more hilarious than the ones I'm going to present, as well as you also get to see what I, Skeletor, and He-Man would look like if we were Super Friends. Well, we're not even normal friends, let alone super friends, but you know what I mean. Part of the Super Friend universe. The very idea of me, Skeletor, being friends with that bull haircut, wearing steroid-using fool is preposterous.
Ridiculous.
Never, He-Man, you hear that? We shall never be friends, so stop texting me.
Guess again.
Now, with that being said, my first super friend is a very fishy guy. Almost as fishy as Merman.
You'll hear something.
Although, admittedly, a whole lot more handsome.
Huh?
And I'm talking about Aquaman.
Who'll stop the Joker and Luther?
Aquaman!
Aquaman.
Name's Aquaman, and I know how to talk to tuna.
Now, full disclosure here, getting the AI to make the Super Friends were a lot more easy than anything else I've had to do before. A lot easier than Silverhawks and, Inspector Gadget or whatever. Mostly because, the Super Friends, or Justice League, are extremely popular and very well known to most people around the world. And so, of course, AI already knew what they looked like.
But a clever mind can get around it.
So despite the fact that Skeletor tried to only describe what they looked like to the AI, without actually using their names, it didn't take long for the AI to pick up on what I was dropping here, And so my first picture, of course, was a lot better than most first pictures, and I got this one here. Now, it's not perfect. Obviously, you can see he doesn't have his belt here, or the black, overoos, I don't know what you call them. Underwear. He doesn't have his black underwear over his pants. Maybe it's under his pants. We just don't know.
It's underwear that's underwear.
But, pretty good for a first attempt. And I even don't mind the fact that he looks like he belongs on Dirty Dancing. Look at him. Doesn't he look like Patrick Swayze if he played Aquaman?
It'll get worse before it gets better.
That's right, Black Manta. Nobody puts Ariel in the corner. Most of this picture is alright, except for one thing I always find hilarious with AI images is they get the simplest things wrong, Like I said, put him swimming in the ocean, beside a whale. They decide to put him sitting on the head of a whale.
Wait a minute!
Who's like, hello, I'm not your chair there, Aquaman. You're sitting on my blowhole.
Whoa!
You got Patrick Swayze's blowhole on top of Free Willy's blowhole. You got a battle of blowholes here.
This isn't fooling around.
Other than that, I actually thought it was a pretty good first image.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Now, I wanted to test myself a little bit with Aquaman. As you know, Aquaman has a pet that he usually rides in the Super Friends, and that's his seahorse friend.
Great Neptune, a giant seahorse.
I don't even remember his name. That's why I made this one here. He looked a little more CGI than I wanted him to look, but his face and hair look a lot more like Aquaman for sure.
I could swear I'm seeing myself.
And this is his horse, of course. His horse has got a weird expression like, Aquaman, I've got a lot more room back there. Maybe you want to scooch a little further down? You know, because I can kind of feel your junk pressing up against my neck here.
It's Mr. Slippery.
Aquaman's like, nah, I'm good.
Guilty.
And he's like, I really hope Black Manta gets you this time. Anyway, so this was Seahorse riding Aquaman.
I was just kidding around.
But my favorite one is this one over here. This one, he looks pretty badass.
Great Neptune.
He's got everything pretty much right, you know. He's got the green gloves, you know, gilt chest plate. He's got his black underoos on. Sorry, his black overoos on.
Underoos are what you wear. Yeah, something super new in underwear.
And I really like the fact that he looks like he's about to wind up and punch this shark. Now, I know he doesn't necessarily have to punch the shark, since, you know, he's got that mental telepathy thing that he can tell this shark what to do.
Beckoning them to his aid.
But instead, he's like, yeah, I'm pissed off here. I got kicked off my seahorse prematurely. So now I'm gonna take it out on you there, shark.
Aquaman wrestles with the angry beast. Sorry, fella.
And he's gonna punch him right in his eye, you know, his doll eye.
Like a doll's eye.
But it's not a perfect picture, as, again, you got some more of that AI nonsense here, you know, as he's sandwiched between the both top layers of the ocean here. He's got some bubbles behind his backside here. Do I want to know why there's bubbles behind Aquaman's backside? Probably not.
I must need some air.
Maybe that's what angered the shark. You're polluting my ocean, Aquaman.
Okay.
But anyway, this here was my favorite Aquaman.
Aquaman's down.
Now, next on my list is another really popular character, one that everyone knows, and another one that was pretty easy for the AI to recognize right away, and that is Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman! All the world is waiting for you!
The excitement is just beginning.
Now, Wonder Woman was a little bit harder. Not because the AI didn't recognize her, because the AI pretty much figured it out early on as well. You know, I said, muscular woman wearing a gold tiara, red halter top with gold adornments, you know, star-spangled bottoms. Pretty obvious what I was going for.
We'll see.
However, what wasn't obvious to the AI was when I said muscular woman, instead of giving her, you know, some moderate muscles, they decided to make her Wonder Schwarzer Woman.
It's time now to turn this mush into muscles.
Holy hallucination.
I mean, look at this image here.
What the hell are you?
Now, granted, even as a muscular woman, she's still pretty hot. I'm not throwing her out of bed for eating crackers, you know?
Get it, I'm not gonna sit in your lap. I'm not a pervert!
However, not exactly what I was going for.
Terrible plan.
I don't know. Is this probably more of an accurate version of what Wonder Woman would look like? Possibly.
Hello, cutie pie. You're mine now!
Wrong.
I don't know. She looks like what Wonder Woman would look like if Netflix and Kevin Smith got their hands on her.
Stop whining.
And also, just for the record, I wasn't going for the coolest looking Wonder Woman I could make, or the coolest looking Aquaman, or even a modern version. I was going for the closest to the nostalgic Super Friends look.
Looks like we have our work cut out for us.
You know, that's what I was going for. So I did say a 70s, 80s look to her in the description, which is why you got her face who looks like she belongs on Dynasty with those dangly earrings.
I don't like what I've seen.
So, while she does look a whole lot more roided up than I wanted,
But I'm all woman.
My nipples are very sensitive.
they understood the look that I was going for. Anyway, so the first one obviously wasn't good.
Take it back!
But again, it didn't take long for them to nail it, as I got this one here, which for me was my favorite one.
Wonder Woman, you're okay.
I like it because it's got a really cool, nostalgic 80s vibe. You know, she looks badass, but her outfit is still very reminiscent and similar to the one from, you know, the Super Friends.
I guess we can rest our minds.
She doesn't look like she's being played by Gal Gadot, you know? And not everything is 100%. She's got some weird neck choker thing here. And she's got silver bracelets, which, I don't know, over here they have her depicted with blue bracelets. But whatever.
There's nothing we can do.
I think she's supposed to have gold either way. Her boots are perfect for me. I really like her boots.
Yes.
You know, they look like they're made for walking. That's just what they'll do. But one of these days, those boots are gonna walk on top of poo.
Some fast maneuvering should take care of that.
But I don't know, there's just something very nostalgic and awesome about this picture.
Wonder Woman.
Maybe next time you'll learn to tolerate others and work out your problem.
Alright, now for one of the more popular Super Friends, if not for some, probably the most popular Super Friend, and that is, of course, the Dark Knight himself, Batman.
Batman being called to stop a dastardly deed?
One thing a super friend should always remember is that you never know when or where trouble will appear.
Before I thought I want to try this, I've always wanted to try this. Let's see how it looks. Hold on. What are you? I'm Batman. Does that strike terror into your heart?
No.
I don't know. I'm probably more suited to play the Joker.
No.
He's psychotic.
Now, again, like all the rest, Batman was easy to get mostly right. However, there were some complications with Batman. For instance, his utility belt is one of those things, as you say, a yellow belt.
Looks like Batman's utility belt.
But how do I describe what he has on his belt? Because he's got a lot of gadgets and things on his belt, right?
Where'd you get a live fish, Batman?
A true crime fighter always carries everything he needs in his utility belt, Robin.
That's why one of the first ones I did looked like this. I call this Go-Go Gadget Batman.
Wowzers! Someone want to tell me what happened?
And look at this belt.
Great Gotham! My utility belt!
Tim the Toolman Taylor Batman. I mean, you can tell this is like the 80s and 70s look. He's got the gray and blue outfit, right? No, I said put a cowl on his head, and they gave him an extra hood here for some reason. I don't know why.
It's taking over my mind.
I mean, mostly he looks alright, you know? Doesn't look bad. But this belt here was hilarious to me. I said put gadgets on it, and I don't know what these things are supposed to do. I'm assuming one of them at least has to be shark repellent.
Hand me down the shark repellent bat spray.
This looks like a little camera, I don't know.
Bat homing transmitter.
This looks like a 1980s cell phone he's got here.
Mobile phone bat plugs.
I don't know what this does.
My special bat inverser.
He just got some random gizmos here.
This calls for the bat tweezers.
I mean, it does look like Batman, except for that tool belt just does not look very practical for a ninja.
Using my bat devices to destroy property and frightening people isn't what makes me tough.
But I mean, look, that jawline is definitely Batman. But again, like Wonder Woman, it didn't take very long to master Batman. Master Batter? Never mind.
Oh, such language.
And I really like this version here. This was my favorite version of Batman.
Great God.
Again, belt isn't perfect, as, you know, it looks nice. It does look like it's got a lot of gadgets in it. I wasn't a big fan of this Omega sign here. I don't know why that's there. But whatever. I'll tell you what I really did like, though. I love this symbol. It looks nostalgic, but yet modern at the same time. I don't know. I really liked it.
My mind is free.
He still looks nostalgic enough that he belongs in the Super Friends universe, but way cooler.
Exactly as we planned it.
Yeah, this one for me definitely was my favorite one. I do have a lot more funnier versions of him. If you want to see those, again, stay to the very end, because I'll show you those.
I have a feeling we won't get much rest tonight.
Speaking of extra photos, now while I did say I was going to mostly focus on the main core of the Super Friends, I did, however, design a few of the other lesser-known Super Friends, which were also popular in their own right.
If I do say so myself.
And so, I'm Skeletor present to you, in Gilligan's Island terms, I guess, the rest.
This doesn't make any sense.
Well, some of the rest, anyway. out of those ones, I have to say that the Wonder Twins were definitely the hardest ones to make on that list. I mean, that blasted monkey was probably the hardest thing I had to do. I kept saying, add a monkey to it, and they just kept making his face look like a monkey's face.
No, not that.
But anyway, those were the best ones of those characters I could do.
Nice work.
And again, like I said before, you wait to the end, you get to see even more hilarious versions of them as well.
Holy multiple images!
Anyway, now this brings me to my first and only villain on this list. Well, if you don't include Gigantum.
Fool.
But main villain anyway. Now, for me to pick my villain, I was like, which villain do I think represents the Super Friends the most? I mean, there was a lot to pick from. You had Brainiac, Cheetah, of course, Lex Luthor, but I wanted to get to the one that said Super Friends the most. And for me, that was Darkseid, or Darkseid. I never know how the hell to pronounce his name. Let me know in the comments, Darkseid or Darkseid, which do you prefer?
The ultimate evil, Darkseid, attacks. His horde of villains spread chaos and destruction.
Darkseid! Had I known you'd be attending.
You may proceed.
But I think it's spelled Darkseid, I don't know.
Darkseid.
Anyway, this one was a little harder for the AI to pick up on, but while it was harder, still I pretty much nailed it almost right away, as this was actually my very first attempt.
You look nothing like him.
Now keep in mind, I'm not going for the comic book look of Darkseid, whatever.
Darkseid.
I'm going for specifically the Super Friends look. This look here, for some reason, weird high boots, showing a little bit of thigh.
I admire your boldness.
You know, I nailed it pretty well. It's weird. The toy for Darkseid came with a cape, but he never had an actual cape in the cartoon.
I have no interest in it.
But I wanted to make him with a cape, as, you know, I felt he looked a lot more regal with one.
Correct.
I would say for a first attempt, not bad. I mean, he's not perfect.
It is obvious to me.
You know, his helmet looks alright. The glowing eyes, ugly gray face. You know, I thought it was pretty good for a first attempt. But I wanted to give him a little more depth. You know, put him in the city. Give him a portal. And so, of course, I came up with this one, which I actually liked the best.
Brilliant.
I don't know. This one, he looks a lot more, I would say, 80s cheese than he did in the last one. The last one, he looked a lot more badass.
Holy ego!
But like I said before, I'm not trying to make the most badass looking character. I'm trying to make the most nostalgic looking one. And this image for me I like a lot because it's the most campy looking of all the Darkseids I've made. It's also at the same time pretty terrifying.
Exactly.
Yes, there's some weird portal here with, I don't know what the hell he's bringing through the portal, but that looks pretty frightening, whatever it is.
Very true.
Which I will say more frightening than that is, for some reason, AI thought that we all here wanted to know what Darkseid is packing below his belt.
Darkseid. Oh.
Amazing.
Watch your tongue.
I mean, look at this damn thing.
Stand back.
I mean, I'm trying not to. I mean, that's more information than I really wanted to know.
Are you not honored?
And then trust me when I tell you, like when I say I'm not emphasizing breasts, I'm definitely not emphasizing packages as well.
At least not yet.
So I have no idea why they kept doing that. But I will say, while disturbing, I do have to admit, pretty impressive.
I've never seen such advanced circuitry.
Anyway, that was the dark seed of Darkseid.
Nothing can withstand my Omega beam.
Which of course now brings me to who I believe is not just the leader of the Super Friends, but also probably the most popular of the Super Friends, and that is the man who puts the super in Super Friends, Superman.
Superman!
My super strength will stop your power punch, Lex Luthor.
We'll do our best.
Now, again, Superman was the easiest one I had to do. It took almost no time to get him perfect. The prompt pretty much was a dead giveaway. As I said, muscular man with blue tight outfit, red cape, red boots. You know, the AI was just like, oh, Superman. Yes, we know what you're talking about here.
Maybe some clown with a home computer cracked our code.
But I was going for a specific Superman. I wanted an 80s Superman, right?
You looking for me?
And an 80s Superman I wanted, and a 1980s Superman I got. With his first image here.
Great Scott.
If you ever wanted to know what Superman would look like if he drove a car named Kit, well, there you have it.
I find that most praiseworthy.
If Superman was played by Hasselhoff, here you go.
A terrific dream.
No.
Wrong.
Shut up.
Hey, look at this 80s haircut. I mean, this hair's so 80s that even this Wonder Woman here can't even look at it.
I must escape.
Like the 80s threw up on his face.
I'd hate to see what would happen if he ever cloned himself.
Don't worry, Wonder Woman. It's like an eclipse. Don't look directly into it.
Got to keep control.
But like I said, it didn't take long for me to master Superman.
That's what you think.
So I wanted to do something a little more creative with Superman. So I thought about Superman's backstory with Kal-El, a Kryptonian from a planet called Krypton, who crash-landed on Earth as a baby and crash-landed into a town in Kansas, right, called Smallville. And so I started to think, well, what if for some reason he crash-landed in other parts of the world, right?
Right.
So I asked the AI, I said, AI, what would it look like if Superman crash-landed in these various places? Well, here's a look at some of these interpretations that AI came with when I mentioned some of these other locations on planet Earth.
What have you done to me, you madman?
Keep in mind, if these things come across as culturally stereotypical or offensive, don't blame me, Skeletor, blame AI. That's the story I'm sticking to, by the way.
You're a shining example of how one race can help another.
I hope you enjoy. The various looks of Superman if he landed in other parts of the world.
Arigato, samurai.
I mean, I didn't think they were that bad. I thought they were hilarious, especially the British. I don't know why, but the British ones were always the funniest ones.
Holy rip-offs!
Let me know which ones you thought were the best in the comments. Anyway, that tomfoolery notwithstanding,
Now to take care of the next phase.
this brings me to my final and my favorite Superman, and that is this one here. I mean, I really liked everything about this Superman.
Good going.
From his hair, he's got that real curl thing on his hair here. Looks kind of Christopher Reeves looking.
I never drink when I fly.
But at the same time, could still kind of pass for a more human-looking version of the Superman from the Super Friends.
That's it.
Definitely have a classic-looking outfit here for sure. Classic S. I don't know why they put the S on his belt, but, you know, still not a deal breaker. Of course, his underwear is on the outside of his pants, as it should be.
What's wrong?
Although, I would hate to see the skid marks that Superman leaves in his actual trousers.
No, it's not true.
But, you know, that's Lois Lane's problem, is I'm not the one responsible for his laundry.
I better be more careful.
Super skid marks are Lois Lane's problem, not mine.
Lois, I need your help.
I guess that's what love does to you.
So there you have it, the He-Man of the Super Friends, and my favorite Superman.
He has my strength and super abilities.
Hey, let me know in the comments, who do you think would actually win in a fight, Superman or He-Man?
Me.
I mean, I know I'm rooting for Superman, just because, you know, with He-Man out of the way, I could then easily take over Eternia, so it's a no-brainer for me.
Guess again, Skeletor.
Alright, so there you have it. The Justice League redesigned by an artificial intelligence art program as described by me, Skeletor. And like I said before, this is just maybe a part 1. There are other characters out there that you were like, Skeletor, you didn't do the Flash, or Hawkman, or Hawkwoman.
Holy catastrophes!
And yes, I do know there's a lot more Super Friends that I left out, but rest assured, this does well enough, there will definitely be a part 2.
Don't worry.
Anyway, just like I promised, for those of you who stayed to the very end, here you go, your reward. Here are the images that I promised, the ones that didn't quite make the cut, but were hilarious nonetheless. lot of you are like, hey, Skeletor, you did He-Man dirty there. Yes, I did.
Holy burning trash!
Why not? I hate He-Man. Why should I make him the cool character? He doesn't deserve that.
I've had about enough.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Geniality. Until next time.